human gadzhi crushed his competitors by brainwashing your brain with high-quality visuals. That's why you no longer like to watch low-quality video, which made him this new finance sensation that people aspire to become. And many have tried to copy his style, even you who clicked on this video. But that's not all he relies on. One important factor that manipulates you into clicking on his videos even when you are not interested in the topic is FOMO. In other words, fear of missing out. And he does that by prepping you through a series of videos that lead to a main event like his latest one, the rescue, then deletes it. And you will see him talk a lot about seizing your opportunity, but it's much bigger than that.
I have read hundreds of books on everything from investing to corporate structure to the psychology of persuasion.
Did you catch it? Not only does he use Mr. Beast formula of matching the title and thumbnail, which I mentioned in my previous video here, but he also incorporates emotion and psychology. Let me explain more. In addition to matching the title and thumbnail, he adds 4 core elements in the hook, and this is where it gets interesting, because this formula is used throughout all of his videos. Let's hop back to one of them and see if you can follow along.
I have read hundreds of books on everything from investing to corporate structure to the psychology of persuasion. And here's the truth. 95% of what they tell you is completely useless when it comes to actually getting rich. So,
in the beginning of his videos, he makes a claim, then challenges your beliefs, which creates 2 different effects, deniance or curiosity. Generally, the deniance will be from people who are new in the space of making money online. That's why they will feel the need to prove that he is telling lies. The second type, which is people that are already in the game, but are curious if that information can solve something they are facing. And these 2 variables create the urge to watch.
Let me go ahead and save you the thousands of hours I have spent reading that never actually benefited me when it comes to making money. Now listen, do not get me wrong. The books I read were wonderful in their own right. They were fascinating, but they didn't help me get rich. And honestly, you have no time to waste. So these are the 17 books that will actually make you rich. The first thing...
Then he introduces a solution and provides evidence for that claim. But sometimes he switches between these. But also, listen closely to the music he uses. Not only is it dramatic, but also gives the sense of fear and importance to what he's saying. Now, after applying this 4-step formula in the first 25 seconds of the video, he adds one secret element, which is the time factor.
And honestly, you have no time to waste.
He always reminds you that time is running out, which a lot of creators in the finance niche use, because feeding on your fear of time is truly effective. He adds this factor either here or after or at the start, and because this strategy is widely known, you have probably seen it in this way. But that's only good for the initial 25 seconds of the video. The rest he opens loops.
To tell you. Now listen, times have changed and the world is extremely different to what it was like 100 years ago. That said, some business principles to something. Go from having average income to becoming a millionaire. Quick is 5 to 10 years.
As humans, our brains are wired to crave closure. When opening loops like, will I make my first million in 5 years? Our brain prompts us to stick around to get some answers. And unlike other creators in his niche, you will notice that for each loop, he introduces a story. For example, in this video, he used a video game. And in this, he went back in time, but it doesn't end there. These loops start by bringing back nostalgia and creating expectations. And he does that by addressing your concerns and actual life events. Then he shifts the mood towards a more dim reality, which in return stimulates your brain to stick around for the good ending.
Tell you this right here, right now. When you make money at an early age, and I'm talking early as in 18, 21, no one is impressed. They just think you are a lucky kid. I can tell you this because I experienced this.
Did you notice? You should probably pay closer attention here.
Let me give you an example. They would rather make their first million at 18 or 19 or 20 by some lucky crypto pick. You know, they put $1,000 into one shitcoin and then it turned into $1 million. Let me tell you something, that will ruin your life forever.
See, at this point, we have built enough tension in the loop to introduce the good ending, which releases the tension by sharing insights from his practical experience and establishing the viability of this aim.
Now, I happen to make money a lot younger, but also bear in mind, I started my first entrepreneurial venture when I was 14. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 years. It took me 5 years to make my first million. Remember what I told you earlier on? I said 5 to 10 years to make your first million. What happened to me? 5 years. So I'm talking and I'm telling you guys from experience.
And this alone could be the basis of a good YouTube video. But creating videos like Iman's don't end with just creating loops. In fact, there are 2 variables that go inside these loops that keeps it as engaging, and it starts with visuals. At the start of each loop, he creates a scene that fits the story, and this is what sets him apart from others. He created his own style. You have to understand that it all comes down from the quality that he has, and how everything he says in his videos is perfectly presented visually so that the audience can resonate and build positive feelings toward him, which later became a trend that served as good publicity for him. And sorry to break it to you, there is no easy way out of this. I mean, he had so many options to go and just copy someone who's done what he wanted to do. So why didn't he? Well, he understood that it is all about how people feel while watching his content. And that's what he did. And you are not going to do it just by replicating his style. It doesn't work like that. You have to build something that belongs only to you. And look, I know it's impossible to create your own style at the beginning. That's why you need to find inspiration somewhere. Which is why I am creating tutorials about how I create my videos in my school community, which you can find down below. And with that, let's move on to the next variable, which is variety. Try to pay close attention to the lighting he uses in his videos. Notice when he wants to trigger fear, he uses a dark environment. Here is an example. See the difference now. But wait, I can't afford to do that in my video. Well, you're wrong.
I think it's important is that it's not always just a bear that you have to bring in as a dual narrative,
Well,
right? It
yeah.
also could be, like you mentioned, the visuals, right? In a lot of our videos, we have like really fast moving visuals, custom animations.
Yeah.
That's what makes it interesting.
Exactly.
Even though he is in the finance niche, his videos create a lot of emotions, and don't get me wrong. While others focus on numbers and information, like when you were with your math teacher,
Homework coming along, Morty.
It's great. It's
he focuses on people. He knows how to make people build positive feelings toward him, and that's why at the end he finishes it with a heartwarming goodbye. It might sound cringy for some people, but like I said, he uses emotions.